It's only been a few days since the horrendous actions of this weekend, and yet polls are already starting to come out, breaking down the actual effect of it on the race and also what people think about the actual shooting and what the responsibility, where the responsibility for it lies. Obviously, we've had a lot of pundits and politicians arguing about who they think caused this. Well, here's what people think, and this is a Morning Consult poll. 38% of voters said that Trump was to blame for the violent moment in American politics, higher than the share that put it on Biden, which was 29%, still a significant share. The Republican Party, 31%, or the Democratic Party, 35%. So interestingly, they believe that the Democrats were marginally more responsible than the Republicans, but that Donald Trump was a good bit more responsible than Joe Biden. And the largest share went to him, that he, I guess, had normalized violence or theoretically laid the ground for something like this to happen.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
Going forward, Biden and Trump supporters are about equally concerned that there will be additional violence at 52 and 53%. And I just want to throw out one more thing before we discuss, and that is how people view the response of the two candidates to what happened. So amongst all voters, 58% support Joe Biden's response, 57% support Donald Trump's response. Once you get into the party ID, it totally breaks down there. But the approval and disapproval numbers are almost identical across Joe Biden and Donald Trump, which I find interesting. But what do you make of that? What do you make of where people place the blame?
It's a question I was asking people here yesterday. People are saying that Joe Biden has his hands on this, both for having said something about we got to put Donald Trump in our bullseye, and because of the just the fact that he has been softer. One person saying softer on crime. The point is that I don't think you can draw that line at all. I think that rhetoric is not great. I thought it was bad when the Republicans were doing the same things, and that just weeks later, Gabby Giffords was shot, former congresswoman in Arizona, and so the saying bullseye and target and those things probably not great. I don't think that's why this 20-year-old wayward loner crazy person got on a roof and killed people or killed someone and tried to kill the former president. So I don't know, but the polling right now, I think, is going to be different than it is on this issue going forward. It just happened. People are trying to figure this out. There's a Republican convention going on. You have a president who has largely stepped away to let the Republicans do this, and you have a party that is rallying around their nominee here in Milwaukee. So I don't know that these numbers, they're interesting because polls are interesting, but I don't put a lot of stake in. Do you?
It's interesting. Look, I agree with you that I think that it is likely that polling changes over time. But when I think about like big events that impact polling, generally we expect that the effect will dissipate over time.
Yeah.
So if, like, for instance, if we move to like the national polling, so in this most recent poll, the first that we've seen coming after the event, Biden is up, Trump is up 1 point over Biden, 46 to 45%.
Right.
Trump's lead has narrowed since the previous poll, which was about a week ago. So the race has tightened in the wake of it. So my assumption would be, and I think a lot of people's assumption would be, like a rallying around the flag sort of equivalent.
Yeah.
That might dissipate over time. But if it didn't have an effect, and again, it's only one poll. Another poll.
It's only one poll, right?
But like, there doesn't seem to have been any effect immediately when it's most front of mind.
But there's nobody can articulate why this should make Trump a better candidate.
I agree with you 100%.
Right. There's nobody,
but they think it.
They think it. That photograph. Yes, it's a fantastic photograph. It's a photograph for the ages, but it doesn't change a vote, right? I mean, the people that are hardened Trump supporters are harder now than they were about their support for Trump than before this, right?
Be a better way to phrase that.
What?
I'm kidding.
Okay, well, there may be, but what I'm really trying to say is I don't know what the other day changes, and what's going to change this race is if Joe Biden is not the candidate. That's going to change this race drastically because it impacts this race in ways that nothing else possibly can. Right?
Yeah.
This is a terrible thing. It makes Republicans, scared for their nominee, happy to see him well, but it doesn't I don't think do anything politically. It shouldn't change a poll.
I agree with everything about questioning why it should change anything. I agree, but a lot of people's assumption was that it would. And we
Right, but
don't
they
know-
can't tell
I
us why.
understand that, but that doesn't mean that some regular people might not be affected. They might not even be able to explain it. You can be affected by something and not be able to articulate or intellectualize it.
Right.
And we don't know what the change will be. But I also, if the first poll had come out and he was up by 7, could I say that I would be shocked?
Yeah.
And so I mean, we have to interpret based on what it is, and it doesn't seem like much. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.